toxic, you know, because sometimes toxicity can be hype AF. Am I mistaken? Let me know in the comments below exactly what you're thinking about this kind of video, but also these games, because I know immediately toxicity breeds toxicity. And actually, I had fun with some of these games, but I don't just want to bash these games, but I do want to look at these with a critical eye. Now, this is going to be the top 10 lowest reviewed MMORPGs, specifically on Steam. So this is looking at the numbers. I didn't make this list exactly. I did pick and choose based on, you know, my definition of MMORPG, as well as looking at the numbers of the total number of reviews, comparing to the negative reviews as well. So it's not just the dumpster of games. These are legitimate games that had legitimate chances and legitimate people playing them, and then those people thought it was bad. So this is not just my opinion. This is probably as objective as a list as I could possibly make, and hopefully we could still have some fun poking at these games that are honestly just filled with holes. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys. Let's have some fun. Okay, so running through these games, we're going to start with a title called Tree of Savior. Now, immediately, it's going to make the list because a lot of people were just so freaking excited for this game. It's coming from the Ragnarok developers. It was supposed to be the spiritual successor and ended up not quite being that. However, the 2D art, overall just the art for the game, I thought was amazing. If not, it's got to have some awards somewhere. It's just beautiful, I think so. And the concept overall isn't flawed entirely, but man, dude, like every other thing, like the balance, the overall grind, which already in a grindy genre is insane. In fact, one reviewer, a very helpful review, says, grind till you drop. Simple, that's it. That's what the game is. And normally a grind for these kind of games, if you look at action RPG like Path of Exile or Warframe, the grind is almost like the playground, but then you have all these toys and things that you can, you know, play with. Tree of Savior doesn't quite have that expression. There is a game here, and I'm actually really excited for the mobile port of this game to jump into it. And I know some of the people in the audience play this game that mixed reviews right now, but initially this game just had bad optimization issues. It just had a bad balance overall. It just wasn't, in terms of tuning, not a very well-tuned game. Now, with time, that can be fixed, and I think it is being repaired, but to many people, the damage has been done, and it still isn't the savior of the Ragnarok-like genre that we wanted in the end. All right, next up, we have Mortal Online. So this is a title I played way back in the day. In fact, I was so a Forum Warrior. I was really engrossed into this community, and I loved all of the stuffs that Mortal Online was pushing out. The art looked amazing. The trailers were so silly. You know, the flying kick farmer, you guys remember that trailer? I don't know, maybe you guys don't, but this was really one of the first big games that was like inspired by Ultima. It was supposed to be Unreal Engine, you know, first person, super hardcore. Man, did it come out a decade too early. And you know, in fact, actually, there's some games like this coming out now, and we're excited for Kickstarter, but like over the years, like every other year, we get a game kind of like this, and it's just garbage. And I don't know why, but they keep coming out because we're hungry for a game like this. We want an Ultima immersive game, but they're always so buggy. So basically that's what it was. Mortal Online was just buggy as hell. Also the balance, like it took me like, I don't know, like 5 minutes to kill a rabbit or some bullshit. And the walking speed was just disgusting. In fact, fun fact, for Mortal Online, that was my first video on YouTube that got me noticed by Free MMO Station. So thanks, Mortal Online. I did a video called Mortal Online Sucks. You literally started my career. So that's how excited I was about Mortal Online. That's how excited I am about a lot of these games. But, you know, sometimes games suck, and you have to mention it until they get fixed. So Mortal Online actually has a reviewer that says here, I've played this game since its release, and 3,000 hours played. That's pretty cool. Long before the Steam release, even. So like every MMO that's been around this many years, there's different stages with highs and lows, but there's certainly here the final days of Mortal Online. Everything that has ever been fun or exciting about the game has been lost, and it's a shadow of its former self. Now that review is kind of funny, because its former self was garbage. So Mortal Online, I don't know if it's casualizing itself. I don't know what it's doing. Is it even improved? I want to jump back in and see, but there's a reason why historically it's been one of the lowest rated MMOs of all time, and maybe it's better for more people now, but I think for the niche audience that really wants a game like this, it might be a little bit perverted. So I don't know, let me know in the comments below, guys. Next up at number 8, yeah, I gotta put Bless Online. Now, disclaimer, I am an emissary for this game. I'm supposed to be talking very positively about this title, but facts are facts. Bless Online had a garbage launch. It should have had more of the fundamental stuff. I mean, optimization is one thing, server issues another, but the fundamental functions that were advertised for the game weren't in the game yet. I don't think so. So a lot of people are slapping them reviews down silly. It's still a popular game. I think 15,000 people are playing it consistently. I think more people will play as updates come in. Sure, I think Bless will still succeed, but no, that early access was pretty garbage. So one review says Bless Online is a game that had everyone hyped, and it did. It really did. It was a new MMORPG for people that have pretty much, you know, tried everything else and just haven't found their home. So Bless was supposed to be that, right? We're all excited, even though in other places it launched, you know, 6 years ago, it failed 3 times. So this time it is failing again. And it's actually funny because I think each time it launched, it might have failed for slightly different reasons. And this time, all it had to do All it had to do was just do the basic fundamental stuff, make sure action targeting is on all the classes, make sure the content, endgame content actually exists there, just make sure that the foundation that I promoted the crap out of, is actually in the game. That's all you had to do. That's it. And you couldn't even do that. We could have gotten past the launch woes if there was content. So yeah, in time, Bless will be cool, but right now it absolutely deserves all the toxicity that it can get. Number 7 is ArcAge. Now, ArcAge, I think we all understand exactly what ArcAge was, is, will continue to be, apparently. But I think this review really sums it up here. A great game like no other, but destroyed by greedy and lying developers. So that's pretty much it, guys. ArcAge was that WoW killer game. It's really fantastic, like how we can, like, in retrospect, we can look at it and be like, yeah, actually, everyone did play ArcAge. I think most people did at least try it once. But then you hear everyone talking about the pay to win, and you had the people who did experience that pay to win, and you even have people who are so inspired by ArcAge and the conflict of pay to win that they are branching out and making their own game, such as Ashes of Creation. Like, that's how seriously impactful ArcAge has been. ArcAge is honestly a pillar of the MMO community at the moment, but it's like a toxic pillar. People play it because there is some genuine cool stuff in it, and you can have some fun. I don't know, I think it can be interesting and fun. A fresh start server is cool, but as a long-term game, no, you can't. You can't really take it seriously. It's all completely perverted. It is a pay-to-win game, and it won't change. They refuse to change it, even with fresh start servers. So yeah, we all know the story of ArcAge, and it will be retold over and over again. Now coming in at number 6, we have Tale of Toast, or The Tale of Toast. I don't know, it's kind of weird. The image is different from the title. Regardless, Tale of Toast is a game made by 2 people, I believe, and generally, I don't care about that. As a consumer, I just care about what I'm consuming, not who made that and why I should feel, special and stuff like that. I will just say that Tale of Toast, if you played it a long time ago, and I talked to Hive Leader about this, he was excited about the game, but actually, a lot of the stuff they promoted the game for has actually been cut from the game, as well as all the bugs from, months and months and months ago. No, they're still in the game. It's still awkward, and honestly, it's still a bad game, and that's going to happen when you don't really open up your game, you don't really sell your game, and yeah, I don't know, I don't think they have enough time and money to really put into this game. So MMOs might cost some money. I don't think they cost $1 million, but something. So this game definitely needs some more time and attention to be anything, and stuff just keeps getting cut from the game. So one review says here, I have 348 hours in this game, and I do not recommend it. I'm not going to talk about the game's improvements or the design. The game's being abused by a couple people, so on and so on. Devs are not reacting enough, and every day this game is losing new players because of the abusing people. So I guess the people playing the game, I don't know, they're just making fun of the community. They're essentially just destroying the game because the game doesn't have enough safeguards and stuff like that. People are just messing around. Racist people or comments is not being punished, and the game devs are protecting the abusers, which makes sense because they want their hardcore community to stay in touch. Each report is going to the junk, and devs are losing 50 people or for covering 5 people. Take the screenshot of this comment. You'll see in 2 months that this game will end. I honestly believe it. Tale of Toast doesn't have enough money to really pay mods or, really manage the game whatsoever. They can't even produce the content that they promised so long ago. So I don't really see where this game is going. I saw some charm, honestly. I did. I think every review loved the weird voice stuff with the sound effects. I don't know. There was some specialness to Tale of Toast, but oh my god, as a whole, this is actually a garbage game. Fight me. Number 5 is Night Online. Now, this might be kind of cheating putting this on the list because this is actually a really old game. However, it is one that was re-released on Steam, and it was supposed to be kind of like a resurgence. I actually have a review on this. I rarely do Steam reviews, but I did do a review. I put it up, and I said that basically, like, nothing was done to modernize it, and it's really just a trash game. And in fact, some reviews, if you look at it, this is even worse than the vanilla game. I guess some things were tuned or changed in order to kind of, be a little bit more money grubby, and overall the management seems really bad. As one review says here, these scumbags will steal your money. Don't even think about playing, let alone paying. So this is a game that, if a lot of reviews say there's a lot of shady stuff going on with this title, they've taken some information that it shouldn't really be needed. No, seriously, the game just really feels like a Hail Mary cash grab in a lot of ways. It doesn't seem like they spent a lot of money on this game. So a lot of reviews, it's very negatively reviewed, of course, obviously, because it's an older game, but it actually did have a strong following. Like, this was one of the most popular MMOs on Steam for a really long time. Nostalgia is a hell of a thing. I even played Night Online back in the day, but oh my god, when I logged in, it was just a dumpster fire that I saw, and it was so laggy and buggy, no modernization. Some people aren't even gonna be able to play this game, period. So I completely would believe, because lots of reviews are saying this, that there's just some shady management going on with this game. I can't recommend even looking at this title. Number 4 is Shroud of the Avatar. So this is a title that actually got me a lot of views on a first look. I was really excited for the game, and I was really hyped about this whole new genre of new classical MMOs, or MMOs that are inspired by older MMOs and, kind of build off of that and try to do some new things. But Shroud of the Avatar only looks old, basically. It's only in the image of older MMOs. It actually is essentially kind of a WoW clone, or it's really more of a clone of WoW clones. It's faltering on every step that I wanted this game in the direction to go in. So one review says, Shroud of the Avatar was touted as the spiritual successor to Richard Garriott's much beloved and deservedly embraced Ultima Online, a game which broke ground and pushed the envelope and became the first hugely popular online multiplayer RPG. I think really the most, just MMO period, but sadly, Shroud is an empty shadow of creativity and excellent game design found in UO. It's nothing like UO, and that might be something about expectations. Shroud of the Avatar really is a WoW-y type of game, really more is an EverQuest-y type of game, and that wouldn't be such a problem, because there's a lot of games coming out that are just straight up, advertising as that, and people love it, but I think because of expectations, you go into it and you think one thing and then everything else changes. Not only that, but even if it was advertised as an EverQuest type of game, it actually is extremely Care Bear from what I have seen, and overall just not very inventive, which is kind of the tragedy. The point of being a new classical MMO is taking those classical concepts and then going tenfold, like we see with a few other competitors. So Shroud of the Avatar seems like a complete pass to me. Number 3, we have Magic Barrage, Bitferno. So this was a game that I was excited about because I really liked Realm of the Mad God. That was the first MMO that I played where I was like, whoa, we can be this radically different. We can make a bullet hell MMO. What? It could be browser based. We can have so much fun. We can make an arcade MMO. It doesn't have to be fully immersion. What? So Magic Barrage, one review says here, I think it's just gonna sum up everything that everyone ever feels about this game is, it's like Realm of the Mad God, but without any of the fun. So not many people have played this game because it is, it's not good. It's just straight up not good. It's not very inventive. I think we could have more games like Realm of the Mad God. In fact, Digital Extremes is making one, and that's just really as blunt as it gets here. This is the one game on the list that is just, hey, this is a bad game. This is why it's bad. A couple people gave it a shot because Realm of the Mad God is hype as hell, but yeah, no, this is a shit clone that just got shit out. Number 2 is Otherland. Now, this was a game I was excited about because it actually comes from a book series. I did not read the book series. I no longer read books since The Great Gatsby. Had a weird, awkward time in high school with that. It's felt pretentious. Sorry. Ruined all books forever for me from now on. So anyways, Otherland, I was excited just because I felt like MMOs, RPGs especially, could do well with like a wealth of lore, a wealth of RPG to actually get started on. So, games like World of Warcraft, hey, look how hyped that is. Games like Guild Wars 2 coming from Guild Wars 1 lore, man, it's so big, it's so epic. So Otherland, I was expecting a true, literal epic. No, this feels like just an asset flip. Like, it's just like a bunch of random assets just kind of thrown in the Unreal Engine, and dear God, man, it's just pretty bad. Now, apparently some reviews say it's getting better, but there's no way this company's making any money to really make any actual substantial changes. So one review says here, having read the books when they came out, and as a fan of the game, I guess, I was both horrified and hopeful when I heard about this game, or the same, whatever. The concept held some promise, but this game is worse than a knockoff Chinese grind fest. It doesn't even have pretty graphics to hold your attention while you grind your way to nowhere, not to mention how horribly bug-ridden it is. I guess it's better than when it was in beta, or whatever it was a year ago. Sure, maybe. Yeah, it was like literally unplayable when I first tried it. Tons of game-breaking glitches. I tried it a couple other times to do some multiple videos on it as I went through different phases. No, dude, it just didn't hold my attention. The concept was kind of cool. It's like a cyber world. It's a cyber universe, virtual reality. You go to lots of different zones and things. Like, one is like steampunk, one might be medieval fantasy. That sort of concept is interesting maybe for a social type of game, but for what wanted to be a combat game, just felt really flat in the end. And just game-breaking glitches all over the place. They really, for a game that is from a book series, that should be filled with heart and soul, had none. And finally, here at number 1, we have Life is Feudal, the MMO. Now, a little bit cheating here, actually, for being number 1. This is actually kind of taking into account all the other versions of this. See, Life is Feudal, actually, it had a Kickstarter to be an MMO, but they did this thing. This is going to sound really shady. Oh, believe it, it is shady. They sold the assets, kind of. They kind of made 3 games. So they made a town building game. That was second. First, they made a survival game. I guess that's kind of like a proof of concept for some mechanics. And then lastly, the MMO was coming out. But they sold all of these separately. Now, I believe if you got the early access for Life is Feudal, your own, which is the survival version, you got the subsequent versions. But dude, that's all bad. In fact, for the very first Life is Feudal, I did a first impression on Attack Gaming, and I think 7 minutes in, I was like, I'm rage quitting. This is garbage. I have never jumped into a game and felt like I feel offended as a player. I cannot believe, like, people who actually kickstarted this game or really supported this game, and they're just getting shoveled shit like this. And then also, like, their asset flips. We're getting fed asset flips until the MMO comes out. Oh my god. So then the MMO comes out. It's not that good, you know, it's a badly designed MMO. I think you can still have some fun, you know, if you're in a guild, like, just like when people say, oh, it's fun with friends. Yeah, any game's gonna be fun if you're in a guild, right? So Life is Feudal, if you're in a guild and you just brute force the game, I'm sure you're having fun. But you're the only few people, like the few handful of guilds that are playing the game, awesome. Glad for you. But any other normal average person, even if you are a fanatic of games like this, which is going to be like Mortal Online, Darkfall, Gloria Victis is coming out, that's also a really negatively reviewed MMO. Even if you're a fan of these games and you enjoy these niche, dude, Life is Feudal is still not a good game. You just look at almost any video and it's just going to be, you know, buggy, laggy, awkward. It's mostly unfun, mostly a time sink. And overall, if you also conceptually think of the idea of flipping assets to sell multiple games as you had a Kickstarter game to make one game, that's just really shady and shitty. So yeah, one review says the issue for this game is easily described in one simple word: Bavik. The main developer is a arrogant, angry little man who listens to the players and then does nothing about it. Every decision made for the game is cash related, and I 110%, just from my brief time with the game, but also doing research, I honestly agree with that. So what a fucking tragedy. All right, guys, so that's going to be the end of the list here. Again, this was Steam's list. This is based on the stats on Steam. This isn't just games that I hated. In fact, I did have a little bit of fun with Shroud of the Avatar. I used to play Night Online. You know, I played a lot of these games. Blessed Online, I was an emissary, so I played a lot of these games. I liked a lot of these games. You know, I have my own biases. There's pros and cons to these games. You can look past some cons. You can jump right into the pros in some games. But for the most part, guys, it's pretty objective here. These games as a whole are bad. Sometimes they are just not polished. Sometimes, in terms of gameplay mechanics, they're just shit designed. Just objective fact. So hopefully, though, what we can try to do as a community is try to learn from these games' mistakes. And if you are currently playing these games, just try to be as vocal as possible. Leave in the comments below. And if there is some good in these games, please let players know that as well. I'm always a fan of sharing good experiences and, of course, sharing bad experiences. But I want us to try to have fun. That's what this is all about, is just people trying to have fun and not wasting time. That's all. So try to help us in the comments below. You know, if a game is good, tell us how not to waste our time. Tell us how to jump over those speed bumps and try to play with us. And, you know, just have a good time all together. That's what I want. And hopefully you had a fun time with this video. A little bit toxic, but I don't know. I thought it'd